Kyle Katarn here. Welcome back to the Dork Forces podcast. Bendu was unable to join me tonight, so I'm going to be flying solo, but that's okay. We're going to take a look forward at 2024 and all the cool Star Wars stuff that's going to be coming out. Zach Taft, hello there, sir. I'm glad you could make it. Sydney, Garrett, Kay, and Geiger, Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year to you too, and to you, Homo Solari. 2023 was a bit of a roller coaster. We talked a little bit about that at length in the previous episode. We did a dorky retrospective with my friend Todd Cherniowski. That was such a fun conversation. I really enjoyed that. But now we are looking forward to the future, to 2024. And man, it's actually looking like it's going to be a pretty stacked year for Star Wars, which I'm excited about. That's an easy thing for me to be excited about. More Star Wars is always good for me. It's interesting. We don't have a movie slated for 2024, at least not one that I can think of off the top of my head, right? We've got 2 live action shows. Well, one confirmed, one is a big question mark, right? We really don't know what's going on with Skeleton Crew, but we've got The Acolyte. The Acolyte's supposed to be dropping this year. Leslie Headland's running the series. It's supposed to be an absolute Jedi fest, 100 years before the Phantom Menace, fully fledged High Republic era goodness. It's going to be so good. I would definitely say that is my top anticipated show out of all of them. And then also we've got the Skeleton Crew, which is the Jude Law show that it's in the can, right? It's pretty much done. They've wrapped production, but it's just sitting there and it hasn't got a release date yet. I'm sure it's going to come soon, but you know, with several studios just shelving things for tax breaks, it really makes me nervous. I'm sure they're not going to do that with Skeleton Crew. That's a little bit too high profile they can't really get away with it, but you know, with the lay of the land makes me kind of nervous that we don't know anything about when Skeleton Crew is supposed to come out yet. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of awesome stuff coming in 2024. Acolyte's definitely on the top. It's definitely on top, but we've got some other cool things coming out too. We're going to talk a little bit about those as well. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. There's no new movies, but there's movies going into production. There's just nothing's going to be hitting the theaters for us in 2024. But you know what? That's okay. Give Star Wars some breathing room. There's also no Star Wars Celebration this year. They're skipping the year, and next year it's going to be held in Japan in 2025. So no new movie and no celebration this year. So it's kind of a bye year for Star Wars in that way. But then we've got multiple video games coming out. We've got a whole slew of novels and comics slated for release this year. At least one, potentially multiple live action shows if you count Skeleton Crew, and a ton of animation as well. Yeah, Outlaws is going to be a great one. Droid Herder, what's up, my man? Hello there. Glad you could make it. That's correct. Yeah, Star Wars Celebration London, they announced that the next celebration would be held in Japan in 2025. So there is not going to be a celebration this year, which honestly, I'm okay with it. Japan's going to be an expensive trip for me, and this gives me a chance to save up for an extra year. You know, that's the way that I'm looking at it. So, hey, Jake, how you doing? Connie, yes, welcome. Hoping Outlaws will kill it because I'm psyched for it. Me too, man. The prospect of an open world game in Star Wars. I loved how slick that loading scene was in the gameplay trailer, where they're taking off from the planet. You're in atmosphere for a second, and then boom, you're in space. You know, I can't help but think about the leaked Battlefront 3 footage from back in the day when we got to see that seamless ground to space combat. Oh man, it's always going to sting a little bit that we never got that game, honestly. Yeah, and Star Wars Outlaws has the honor of being the only surprise trailer announcement to ever make me do a legit spit take. R.I.P. my old keyboard. Anyway, yeah. So starting off with the live action shows, we've got Skeleton Crew and we've got The Acolyte. We don't have a trailer yet for The Acolyte, but we do know it's coming this year. And there's been some leaked set pictures. I think some of them might actually have been officially released. We've seen Buri Yaga in costume, right? We've seen Vernestra Rowe in costume. A couple different things. High Republic robes look so good in live action, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. The show's definitely on the top of my list of anticipated projects for 2024. There's a ton of animation coming too, though. Let's talk about some of that, right? So Young Jedi Adventures came out in 2023. It came out last year. I think it released 19 episodes. And season 1 has 25 total. So we're going to be getting the second half of season 1 this year. I need to catch up on Young Jedi Adventures. I don't have much to say about it because I have not watched it. On like to be truthful, I'm like I don't feel like I'm the target demographic for this, but I should still watch it as a Star Wars connoisseur. It's kind of I'm obligated to at least give it a look, So it's on the list of things I'm going to be reacting to every episode of it. And those are going to be going up on the channel, but I haven't quite gotten to that yet. However, that is counted among the new releases in 2024 because we're still going to get the remainder of those episodes coming soon. Your niece absolutely. I have young nephews that also absolutely adore the show. I've heard really good things about it. Honestly, apparently it's very good. A lot of my mutuals and people that I follow on Twitter have been saying really good things about it too. And when I went to Emerald City Comic Con last year, I sat in on the Clone Wars panel, and D. Baker was there, and someone asked him what is his favorite character he's ever voiced, and his answer was Nubs from Young Jedi Adventures. So, and the show hadn't even come out yet. He was like, "It's a character in a show that is about to come out. You'll know." And then, like 2 months later, Nubs premiered. So, it's D. Baker's favorite role, and that says a lot because he's been quite a few. Well, he's been like in millions of characters if you count the clones individually, I suppose. But Young Jedi Adventures is coming. I'm pretty excited for it. Haven't seen it personally, but it looks charming, and I'm glad. Exactly. Not every Star Wars show has to be for you or me specifically. Like, there's so many different kinds of fans that are coming at Star Wars from different angles and different. Like, some people are literal, just like little kids, and they want to get something out of it too, and they don't need something that's gritty and hard hitting and like terrifying. They need something that's simplistic and for children and entertaining. And these are all adjectives I'm throwing at the show that I haven't actually watched. That's just what I got from the trailer. And I'd be if there may be more depth to it than I'm giving it credit for, and that remains to be seen. Like I said, I'm going to react to it eventually. So I I shamefully admit that I fell off on Resistance. I still need to go back and finish it, but I am committed to also reacting to that in the future too. I wouldn't mind a season 2. I don't know how season 1 ends yet, but I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I thought I appreciated what they were going for with Resistance, and man, did it really has its moments. Like some of the bits between Kaz and Niku are absolutely hilarious. Yes, Tales of the Jedi season 2. That is definitely coming this year. And this is definitely one of the things that I'm also really, really excited for. It's considered to be Dave Filoni's passion project. These are the stories that he couldn't fit into the Clone Wars that he really, really wanted to tell. And now he's got the budget and the job title to make it happen, as creative director. So we're going to get a lot more. I am really hoping for young Balin Skull. Let's see him as a Jedi, before it all went down. I think there's a pretty high likelihood that might even be in the cards here. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. I feel like we're going to get like at least a third of it is going to be more Ahsoka stories, because this is Dave's passion project. Ahsoka can't be far behind, right? She's got to be involved somehow. But Tales of the Jedi season 2 is, season 1 was so good. It was so good. My only complaint is that it was so short, right? Brief anthology, and then it was done. It was bite size, and I wanted a meal. So once season 2 comes out, I'm definitely gonna have to binge 1 and 2 together and just savor it if I can. Hello there, welcome. At this point, just start from scratch and react to it. I mean, honestly, it's been literal years since I watched the first episodes. I don't know how much of it I could recall if I wanted to jump back in the middle anyway. So that might be the way to go. I would be down. If we get more Plo Koon, I'm going to be really happy. Definitely another one of Dave's favorites, though, right? So, like, again, high likelihood that we're going to get that. We better. You know what? Give me the little, like, I guess we've gotten the first half of it with Ahsoka being born and being a baby and getting that story. But going into what I said about him loving Ahsoka so much, what if that's I can't talk. What if that's the next Plo Koon arc that we get is him discovering Ahsoka as a baby, That would be cool. Because I don't think they covered that part of the story in the Tales of the Jedi when we saw her. It was just her escaping, returning to the village, riding the creature. But I don't think Plo Koon actually showed up. And we can't forget. Oh yeah, we can't forget about Bad Batch, right? Bad Batch season 3 is also coming. Bad Batch season 3 is gonna be nuts. Now we've got Tantus in play, right? We're getting answers about the cloning. We need to know what's gonna happen with Omega, right? Yeah, it's definitely up there too. I think Acolyte is top, then Bad Batch season 3 slash Tales of the Jedi. I don't know. They're really on even footing for me in terms of anticipation. I'm really hoping we get more Fennec Shand because she was awesome in Bad Batch. Her fight with Cad Bane is one of my favorite animated showdowns, and that's one criticism that I have about the Book of Boba Fett is they acted like they didn't even fucking know each other. When Cad Bane showed up and he called out Boba Fett and Fennec is like right there. Like she was staring him down, sure, but she was staring him down the way that she mean mugs everybody that tries to talk to Boba Fett. I feel like they should have had words because she lost him a ton of credits. So the only reason why they wouldn't have had words is if they already squashed the beef, and that would happen in season 3 of Bad Batch, maybe. So maybe we'll get a rematch. Maybe Cad Bane and Fennec Shand will go toe to toe again. Absolutely, it gave him more layers. Ming-Na Wen is she's amazing, man. You could tell that they were going to just kill her off outright in episode 5 of The Mandalorian, the gunslinger. And she just like she rolled a charisma check and got herself like a whole nother season. And because she's just too awesome. They're like, you can't stay dead. You're too much of a fan favorite and we all like you. So like she came back. Exactly. She's fucking Mulan. Well put. Well put. We're talking Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch season 3, Tales of the Jedi season 2. There's also some video games, right? We've got some video games coming out. Star Wars Outlaws, obviously, is the big one that's coming out. It has a release date. Yeah, February, I think. I'll look it up in a second, but I'm pretty sure it's coming out early in the year, too. It's the only AAA game that we're getting from Star Wars this year. It's open world. This one is set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So technically this could be having tie-ins to the comics world in canon right now with War of the Bounty Hunters, Crimson Reign, even Dark Droids, I guess. All these things are taking place during that time period. We know from the trailer that the main character, Kay Vess, is talking about how there's room to operate as a smuggler right now because the cartels are so preoccupied. So I have to assume that what they're preoccupied with is the events of the canon comics that we've been reading through. Oh, okay. It's slated for late 2024. Okay, well, that's my mistake. Whatever. It's something to anticipate. It might be like a Christmas release, then that's fine. Because honestly, like Star Wars AAA games are basically movies. They're so cinematic and they're so story-driven that, like, there you go. Star Wars Outlaws is our big theatrical story release that we're getting for Star Wars. And it'll be in the Christmas season just like the movies used to be. Because you can count Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order as Star Wars like movies, you know. They're interactive movies that you play through the story of, but they're so incredibly story driven that, you know, I put them almost in the exact same category, honestly. Star Wars Hunters is a maybe. It's absolutely a maybe. Yes. I'll include it on the list, but I don't think it has a confirmed release date, and it's already been pushed back multiple times. Crystal, hello there. Welcome to the podcast. Yeah, Garrett, the Wookiee Jedi is it confirmed to be Buryaga? This is my question. I seem to remember somewhere reading that it was, but it's entirely possible I was reading that someone thought that it was. Like, that's the problem with reading like 1,000 goddamn comments about Star Wars every day, is that you can't remember what you read where after a while, you know? Got to have an elaborate system of bookmarking and things like that. It is not. Okay, cool. Well, honestly, I'm down. Give us another live action Wookiee character. Hell yeah. Step aside Chewbacca. Step aside Black Chrysanthemum. I don't think either of you can go toe to toe with a Wookiee Jedi. Like, his fight scenes are going to be nuts. I did hear that it was Eunice, yes, and good for him. He's a professional Wookiee now. That is his lot in life. There's going to be several Wookiees, and he's going to be all of them. Yes, Woodsy, I'm glad you brought that up because that is the next video game that I want to talk about. And I know that Star Wars Outlaws is big and shiny and fancy and going to be awesome, but I'm almost more excited for the goddamn Dark Forces remaster. That's the Kyle Katarn game, yo. That's where it all started for me. And it's going to be re-released in 4K. We're talking the 1995 shooter, not the sequels. We're starting with the original Dark Forces. February 28th. We do have a release date for this one. It's going to be on PC, consoles, Xbox One, PlayStation. I think the Switch even is going to get it, which is awesome. Hell yeah, that's this year, my brother. That's like next month. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And if the Dork, I'm never gonna see. I fucked myself so bad naming this the Dork Forces podcast, because now Dark Forces is coming out and I'm going to have to say Dark Forces without saying Dork Forces a whole lot as I make videos and do content about this game. And I have like created such a strong word association with Dork Forces now because I've said it so many times. I don't know how I'm going to get over this one. I'm going to be stumbling over that word for forever. And that's on me. I have no one to blame but myself. But the Dark Forces remaster, if it is successful, if it does really, really well, we can get Dark Forces 2. All right. We can get Jedi Knight. And the reason why that is so goddamn exciting to me is because that game has FMV cutscenes. FMV cutscenes, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, are the old school early 90s. Instead of rendered computer generated images, they literally filmed little movies and had the video play between scenes. And Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight was one of those. And Kyle Katarn was played by a real actor. His name is Jason Court. He's a really nice guy, actually. I've met him. But if those get remastered into 4K, that's huge, because no one has ever seen them more than like 45 pixels wide. Like, God, it's so grainy. And the only ones that exist now are like rips of the old games put on YouTube, but they've never been scaled up. They're still like tiny images because that's just the technology of the day. We're talking 1997, I think, for Dark Forces 2. So if possible, if we can get 4K remastered FMV cutscenes, I'm never going to shut up about it. Like, you don't even know what gold mines they are. There are gems, and they're meme-tastic too. They're absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, seriously, it's like almost single-digit pixels wide. It's insane. The Death Clock movie is, you're right, it's not out yet. For a second, I was like, I've already seen it, but no, that was the Venture Brothers movie, which did come out, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. The beating of the baboon heart, or whatever it was called. I found it a little bit underwhelming, but that's just because I didn't want the series to end, honestly. I don't know enough about the technology to know if it's possible, but I know that like a crazy amount of things have been upscaled. Like, think about the film quality of that World War I footage that Peter Jackson was able to upscale to 4K for They Shall Never Grow Old. If you're able to do that, like, I have to imagine that an FMV cutscene could be cleaned up at least into 1080p, if not 4K. Yeah, I mean, like, everyone has their first, right? Their first entry point into Star Wars, or the first video game they ever played that they like fell into. And for me, it's absolutely Dark Forces. And I've heard about that with so many people for KOTOR. I know that KOTOR was a huge one for people. They came out around the same time. Dark Forces 3, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Knights of the Old Republic. I think they might have even been the same year. And for me, it was still like, I was very new to computer games and gaming in general, and it kind of was overwhelming to me to even think about playing 2 Star Wars games. So it was very arbitrary, and it was a choice I imposed on myself, but I felt like I had to choose. I was like, I can either play KOTOR or I can play Jedi Outcast, and I ended up with Jedi Outcast. Just because I was already on the Dark Forces train. And I didn't play KOTOR until as I was an adult, until many years later. And I do feel like I missed out a little bit, because KOTOR is pretty awesome too. Definitely. I heard it immediately. Again, it's burned into my brain. Space. I love it. Yeah, Bach, Saris, all of them. I can't wait. I don't want to put my hopes up too, because Dark Forces 2 remaster hasn't even been announced. They're only remastering the first one, and that one does not have any FMV cutscene. It was before they started doing that. But maybe someday, if everybody can get hype about Dark Forces with me, maybe we'll get Dark Forces 2 remastered as well. And wouldn't that be something? I would love it. I saw someone asking in here. Let me scroll through the comments for a second. Someone was asking about Star Wars books that are releasing. It was about 150 comments ago. My bad. But to answer your question, yes, there's a bunch of books. Pretty much the entirety of High Republic Phase 3 is dropping this year, which is pretty damn cool. Yeah, it already kicked off in late 2023. And it's going to conclude in 2025. So throughout, we're going to be getting Phase 3 stories for the next year. We've got a couple different ones coming out. We've got Escape from Velo, Defy the Storm, Living Force, Glass Abyss. There's also an Essential Legends coming out, Essential Legends collection coming out. Waves 9 and 10 are going to be coming out in 2024. We're getting the first one, I think it's early in February, maybe February 5th or 6th, and it's going to have X-Wing Wraith Squadron, Republic Commando, Order 66, by Karen Travis, which is exciting for me because I don't think Karen Travis has really gotten a lot of re-releases recently. I don't know why. She's kind of avoided by contemporary Star Wars publishing. I'm not really sure. I know there's a story there, but I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? And Knight Errant by John Jackson Miller, which we love because John Jackson Miller knows Star Wars inside and out, and his comics are some of the best. In 2024, we're getting a ton of Star Wars comics as well. Obviously, High Republic Phase 3 is a multimedia release, so we're getting novels and we're going to get comics from that too. We're talking Shadows of Starlight's going to wrap up. High Republic Adventures just released the first issue of its Phase 3 in 2023, and so that's going to be continuing as well. And we're getting a brand new miniseries called Saber for Hire, which is bringing back Ty Yorick. I'm pretty excited about that, but that's not coming out till like April, I think. So we've got a while to wait. Got a while to wait on the new releases there. There are Star Wars comics that have been long time established that are coming to an end pretty soon here, actually. Both Bounty Hunters and Dr. Aphra are going to be ending this month. I think they're both hitting 45 issue. Or no. Bounty Hunters is going to hit issue for number 42, and Dr. Aphra is ending on issue number 40 at the very end of the month. And also, of course, The Mandalorian Season 2 and Obi-Wan Kenobi adaptations are going to be ending, but that's because, of course, they are, right? They're covering, what, like 6-episode runs of TV? They couldn't have gone on forever, man. Aphra is ending. The series is ending. The character is not ending. I guarantee you we're going to be seeing a lot of Aphra very soon. I've been saying for years that she's going to make the jump to live action, and I think it could be coming pretty soon. And one of the things they may have been waiting for is for the Aphra series run to conclude. It'll be very interesting. And I'm like keeping my eyes peeled on the IMDb listings of all future Star Wars credits. I'm like, is Alessa Wong credited as writing on anywhere? Because if she is, that's where Aphra's going to show up. So I have my suspicions about that. But yeah, Bounty Hunters is ending, and so is Dr. Aphra. I'm going to be sad to see them both go, honestly. Mostly because I just really love doing Valence's voice on Comics with Katarn. It's a really fun, and Zuckuss. Can't forget about good old Zuckuss, man. But they're going to be replaced with new series. The wheel keeps on turning. We're going to get new comic offerings as well, and who knows what they're going to be yet, I'm sure there's a lot of releases that haven't been announced that are planned for 2024, but we'll be getting them like weeks, if not months ahead of when they air, instead of like a whole year out. Absolutely. She's like a cockroach, all right? And I mean that in the nicest possible way. But I think it's accurate. I think you can compare her to like Aphra is a cockroach, affectionate, I'm thinking that at the very least she's going to be heavily featured as a recurring in other lines. The way Sanastaros really has just like made her home in the Star Wars line. She had like the Staros family little run was kind of fun too. Like they gave her some expansion of character, but like once she shows up, she's here to stay. Aphra is also here to stay. I don't think she's going anywhere. Yeah, she has survived Vader a ridiculous amount of times, but I could talk about the ridiculousness of Darth Vader in the comics in canon right now for a very long time, right? There's a lot of silliness going on in there. And all love and respect to Greg Pak and Raphael Yanko and everyone working on the Vader line. But man, that comic has jumped the shark like 10 times. I'm not really even complaining. Like, it's kind of awesome. Like, what do you mean he went and saw Kitster and Wald and like rode a pod racer through a sandstorm? Like, you're telling me that wasn't just like a fever dream of memes that like somehow came to life onto the page? It's kind of hysterical, you know. But it's definitely not like dark and brooding and evil. It's how ridiculously badass can we make him, and like emphasis on ridiculous. Hey, Holiday Punch, how you doing, man? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, but Afra's not. She's gone from her own flagship series, but she's definitely not like going to be missing as a character. Like, we're going to see a lot more Afra. I'm sure of it. Hyperspace Stories ended last year with issue number 12, and I actually haven't read any of them yet. So I'm planning to do like an extra long comics video where I just blast through all 12 issues of Hyperspace Stories. You can stay tuned for that. That's coming probably later this month. I've changed the format of how I used to do comics with Katana's live streams, and now I'm doing them as static videos, and I'm spending a little bit more time in the editing. And I think that it's working out a little bit better. It's also a more tenable task for me to do. There's a little bit I can control the time that it takes a little bit better. So there's going to be multiple comic videos dropping on the following Wednesdays, and we're going to catch up slowly until eventually I'll be releasing videos day of release for the new Canon Comics again. We'll get there eventually. Hey, whoa, hey, he's got a right to be here, man. He's not bothering anybody. He just really wants to be part of it. If I put him outside the room while I'm streaming, he just starts crying. So no one wants to deal with that, you know. It's true. It's true. I'm a man of my word, and that is coming soon. There's all kinds of crazy streaming stuff that I want to start doing, and Final Fantasy is like the main thing up there. One thing that I did right at the end of 2023 is I bought a house. So I'm going to be moving pretty soon, midway through this month, and that's gonna cause a little bit of an interruption in my streaming for like a week or so. Nothing huge, but what I'm doing right now is I'm like furiously recording as many videos as I can so that they can be scheduled to drop. And so most people aren't even going to notice that I was gone for a while. But the one thing that you can't really do ahead of time is live streams. So so I probably won't be doing regular live streams again until late January, maybe early February. But then I'm going to hit the ground running, and Final Fantasy is going to be one of the main things that we're going to be doing here. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm actually really excited about it. I don't really want to go on and on about it, but I will say that like a short number of years ago, I saw myself as someone who would be like a renter for life. I never thought I'd be able to own a house, and so I'm like really chuffed about that. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna learn about all of the terrible things about being a homeowner that I didn't even realize I was gonna have to deal with. But it's a journey, right? It's a journey. And yes, exactly. That's why I bought a house, is because I ran out of space for maps. I need to put more maps up. For those of you who don't know, I have a huge collection of fantasy maps. I have a gallery wall in the living room. It's like covered almost every inch with big ass maps. But now that I got a new house, I'm gonna have to get more maps. That's just how these things work. Yeah. Oh no, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. One of the main things that I'm actually looking forward to doing is setting up one of the bedrooms. I'm gonna have it professionally soundproofed and turned into a voiceover studio, so I can start working professionally as a voice actor. One of the things that I have that's kind of been holding me back is that I don't have a space where I can really control the volume. The situation where I'm renting, like, you know, there's a lot of noise outside of my situation that I have no control over. So being able to control a nice quiet recording environment is everything to me. So I'm really hoping that 2024 is the year that the voiceover really takes off. Gonna be cranking out audiobooks and just doing everything that I can. Hopefully throw my voice on a couple of fan films too. I've been talking to different fan film makers about like, hey, when you make your next one, let me know. I'll be Stormtrooper number 6. You know, I'm happy to do that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about all of that. Yeah, this could be a good year for me. Oh, that's so awesome. You're getting a new puppy? What kind of puppy? I need to know. I didn't know what kind of dog you're getting. I haven't had a dog. I've been living with many cats for many years. I had a dog as a kid. It was a black lab, and I miss her so much. Her name was Heidi. I'm sure I am sure it's a hassle, and I'm looking forward to finding out. I'll put it that way. A Brittany. I didn't know. I thought that was a person's name. I didn't know that was a kind of dog. I'm looking up what a Brittany looks like right now. You better not be pranking me. I better not be looking up porn right now. Brittany dog. Oh, one of those. Oh, those are so cute. Yeah, I know those guys. Yeah, they're so sweet. Got a whole bunch of cute dog pictures in front of me now. Wow, we really got derailed fast. that's exactly. That's the thing about like being a Star Wars fan is like, don't call it Anakin. Don't call your pet Anakin. Like you've always got that urge. You have to fight against it. Tobias, nice. Tobias is a cool name. I think it's German actually. It makes me think of this is gonna crack you up. It makes me think of Animorphs, actually. Oh man. Seriously though, that isn't that just such the dream? Like, God, give me the grossest, weirdest looking glup shitto of an alien, and I will give him the coolest voice, man. I'll do it. I'll go the distance. That's good. He's got a good strong voice. He's able to protect his house. My uncle got a dog long time ago, and they named him Bart so that when he barks, he could say his own name, right? Like a Pokemon, which is kind of funny. Never barks. Quietest dog, quietest damn dog you've ever seen. And I was like, that's what you get for trying to like create a prophecy with the name of your dog. Yeah, it's oh man, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. It was a Star Wars fan film. Turns out it was like a Star Wars themed porn trailer. And I was like halfway through a live reaction on YouTube when I realized what it was too. And that was the moment I became a true YouTuber. Oh man. There aren't a lot of pets, and I really appreciate that Sabine has a loaf cat and that we got to see her. But if you're going to introduce the loaf cat, you have to let us know that the cat's being fed and taken care of and not like trapped at the top of this tower. I'm sure Ryder Rosati got right on it. Like we know this. And then they released a live stream on Disney Plus that was just the cat chilling there, not being fed. It's like they're rubbing it in. They're turning the anxiety up even further. Yeah, the Tuscans love their dogs. Tuscans got big dogs. Is Boga a pet? No, right? Boga's like a war steed, like a war mount that Obi-Wan rode around on Utapau. I like to think that if Order 66 hadn't gone down, he would have taken Boga with him when he left Utapau and gone to the next campaign with the Varactyl. That's what I like to think. I don't think that he would have left Boga behind afterwards because they bonded. They bonded through combat and then through you can absolutely pet a war steed, yes, but it's almost a war. It's almost more like a coworker than a pet relationship, though. Because you guys go into it together. That's what I think. I am still figuring that out. And the big decision for me is: do I recreate this background exactly how it is, or do I like reinvent it and like upgrade it, get a completely new look? I could go either direction with it, and I'm torn because I really like the way I've set it up here. I think I might do the same thing, but like bigger. I don't know. I don't know. That's a deliberation that's going to take me a while. I think. Patissa's definitely a pet. Patissa's like when you have a pet pit bull to scare the neighbors and to like make people think that you're all tough, but really it's a sweetheart. That was definitely Patissa. And the Bad Batch made me feel so bad for that poor stupid Rancor. And then the episode of the Book of Boba Fett too, with Danny Trejo talking about how emotionally complex these creatures are. I'm like, yeah, and then Luke just killed it. Do you think back in the day the Praetorian Guards, Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith would be badass fighters? I always did. I always thought that they're not even doing anything because they don't have to, because they're so badass and they're so in control. I like it's kind of the same sort of thing as in horror movies when like you never see the monster. It's always subjective camera angles and just people being watched. and the film sort of lets your imagination fill in the blanks because your imagination will come up with a scarier monster than the props department could ever think of because it's going to be tailor made to your specific fears. Well, they do the same kind of thing when you have like the Red Guards in Return of the Jedi just standing there and we never see them in action. Is that your imagination now explains to you how badass they are and what it is that they're capable of because we never get a chance to see it. So we never get a chance to gauge are they effective or not, which I think is a better way to do it because, again, your imagination is going to come up with a cooler fight scene than any choreographer could because it's going to be tailored to your sensibilities. It's your imagination. So as a kid, I always thought that they were super badass, and we never saw it because they're like, I could kick Luke Skywalker's ass, but I don't feel like it. Like I haven't been ordered to by my emperor, kind of thing. And then they kind of, they kind of shattered the illusion a little bit when Ezra like handed them their asses in the Rebel season 4 finale. That was kind of hilarious, actually. But yeah, no, I always thought they were badasses. I always thought they were totally cool. Because they were, yeah, exactly. What could they do? That's the big question. And it's like clearly they're the cream of the crop. They're the best of the best of the best. They're wasted as being stormtroopers, so they become like the Red Royal Guard. Like I always kind of thought that they were like the super duper special forces under there. Yes, yes, we do. And Ezra cleaned their clocks. It was great. They should just make a DLC for Jedi Survivor about Cal and Naren's adventure on Nar Shaddaa. Do they allude to their adventure on Nar Shaddaa during Jedi Survivor, or is this like a tie-in comic or something that I've missed? Because if there's something I haven't seen, I need to see it. Um, Hopefully we just get a third. I mean, obviously there's a third installment coming, right? Nothing is more Star Warsy than trilogies, but either way, any more content from that, I would love to have it. And you know how much I love Nar Shaddaa. It's like one of my favorite planets, moons, I guess. They were dope in The Force Unleashed. The Royal Guards, they were totally dope in The Force Unleashed. Really frustrating. God, I remember getting really, really heated trying to get past those levels, actually. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. God damn it. Steamboat Mickey and Mini Short has entered the public domain. Now people are releasing trailers for the shitty Mickey Mouse horror movies. I saw that. Like already there's like a horror game and 2 horror movies featuring the original Mickey Mouse design. And I have to believe that these are cash grabs, right? These are cashing in on the opportunity to use the likeness. It's not like any of them are going to be novel concepts. And so I wonder like how much of this are we going to see? Like are we just going to see like an absolute avalanche of stuff featuring goddamn Steamboat Willie? What a time to be alive. What an absolutely fascinating phenomenon to see. Like the bastardization of Mickey Mouse. uh, yes, there was a book. There was a book that came out between the games, and that does talk about Nar Shaddaa. A DLC to play through the book would be pretty cool, actually. What was it called? It was Battle Scars. That's right, by Sam Maggs. Yes, Battle Scars was the novel. You know, people turn these children icons into horror characters. Do something interesting with the characters now that they're in public domain. I mean, well, I don't know. It's such a subjective thing, isn't it? What's interesting? What's interesting to one person is not interesting to someone else. And if someone comes up with a uniquely like cool and creative concept for a horror movie involving Mickey, like yeah, I might check it out. But I don't find most of what I've seen so far to be particularly compelling. I just see it as cash grabs. Yeah, it's not technically even Mickey Mouse. It's Steamboat Willie. And Mickey Mouse wasn't even the OG, right? Wasn't it Mortimer Mouse? Isn't Mortimer Mouse legally considered a separate entity than Mickey? Because he was copyrighted and trademarked before they changed the name, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm not up on my Disney lore like some people are. I don't know these things. But I do know that we're gonna have a pretty stacked 2024, and I'm looking forward to it. We don't have a movie coming out, like I said, which is too bad, but I consider Outlaws a big ass cinematic story release that's happening at the end of the year, and I'll take it, you know? In a way, it's kind of superior to a movie because you get to feel like you're truly participatory in the story, like you're making small choices and decisions that affect how it plays out. And that's like the only thing cooler than watching a Star Wars movie is feeling like you're truly along for the ride on a Star Wars movie. And Jedi Survivor really kind of was able to encapsulate that feeling. And I have high hopes for Outlaws to do the same thing, honestly. Looking forward to it. Yeah, okay, yeah, Mortimer Mouse is a separate character. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Where's the Mortimer slasher, bro? Isn't he at least as old? When is he entering the public domain? I shouldn't tempt fate. I don't want to see it. I'm just wondering why it hasn't happened yet, you know? Yeah. So to recap what I've got going on in my head right now, um, live action series, including the Acolyte and fingers crossed Skeleton Crew coming soon. We're also going to be getting the Young Jedi Adventures remainder of season 1, which I need to catch up on still. Bad Batch season 3 is going to be dropping, and it's going to be everything. Um, Tech is going to come back. I'm telling you right now, he's not really dead. All right.
Hi, my name is Hunter. And my name is Tech.
He's not dead. You're being lied to. You're being lied to. He survived. He's on Ariadu right now, like in a hammock somewhere. He's fine. They wouldn't do that to Wanda Sykes. I'm telling you, we're going to get him back this season. That's my big prediction. Tales of the Jedi is going to kick everybody's ass. I'm expecting Plo Koon, and I'm expecting Balin Skull. But whatever we get, I know I'm going to be really happy with it because, gosh, season 1 of Tales of the Jedi was just so damn good. The fidelity of the visuals, like they've really dialed it in, right? That animation style. It started with Clone Wars. They refined it with Bad Batch, and now they're just doing victory laps at this point. Like it looks so damn good. The character designs are really polished, but the environments and the vistas and the huge landscapes, they're so incredible. Yeah, I realize I'm gushing a little bit, but Tales of the Jedi really impressed me, man. It really, really impressed me. Moving on from animation, we've also got the Star Wars Outlaws and video games. Hunters, maybe. Hunters has been delayed so many times. It was announced all the way back in 2021. It's like a combat arena style game set after the fall of the Empire, and you can be like bounty hunters, rebel heroes, stormtroopers. I'm pretty sure there's even like a force sensitive droid. What the hell is going on there? I kind of want to play through the game just to find out more about this force sensitive droid Jedi and like what the hell is happening in this. Is it canon? What is this? But hopefully that comes out this year. I really don't know if it's going to. The Dark Forces remaster is absolutely freaking coming. And that's coming on February 28th, and I am so excited. I'm going to be streaming the hell out of that game. I can't wait. And hopefully, if we make enough noise about it, they'll also remaster the next one, and we'll get those delicious FMV cutscenes in 4K. How nice would that be, right? Ugh. I don't even want to think about it because it's going to get me excited, and it's not even announced yet. And why would I do that to myself? You know? Tales of the Jedi on Young Ventress. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. Honestly, Tales of the Jedi can give us before and after Ventress too, because her novel with Quinlan Voss, that's canon, still hasn't been portrayed, right? So we could potentially get to see that story go down as well. Which sounds kind of heartbreaking and depressing now that I think about it, but I still want it. I still want to see it, man. Ventress is one of my absolute favorite characters in the Clone Wars, and I think that she's so dynamic, and I think she got such a raw deal, honestly. Her story is just as tragic as anyone else that you can name. Anyone else that got screwed over by Palpatine and by Dooku by extension, you know? Yeah, no. Ventress is fantastic. Fantastic character. Gonna try and paint her for Shatterpoint. We'll see how well that goes. But thanks for listening, everybody. That's pretty much all I got for this edition of the Dork Forces. Bendu wanted to be here. He wanted me to pass on that, you know, he misses you guys, and he'll see you next week. He'll be back, no problem. He just couldn't make it tonight. But I've had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys and talking about what's coming up next in 2024. It looks like we're going to have a pretty stacked year, and there's just enough coming out to help me get over the fact that we're not getting an episodic movie this year or a Star Wars Celebration, because, you know, We're taking the year off. 2025 will go crazy with a movie and celebration and a slew of releases. But until then, we've got plenty of stuff to tide us over, right? Plenty of things to sink our teeth into. And there's going to be reactions coming on the channel to all of the big releases, right? I'm going to be reacting to The Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, whenever the hell it shows up. Young Jedi Adventures I'm going to catch up on. Resistance I'm going to jump back onto as well, like someone pointed out in the chat here today. Thank you so much for coming out, everybody. Let's fucking go. May the force be with you too. Yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of your night, rest of your week. And we'll be back, Bendu and myself, next week for the Dork Forces podcast. That's all we got for tonight. Thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. Let's do it. Catch some bad, walk down, face 'em with the heater. The devil under